Do you want to experience brain-teasing heist adventures filled with puzzles? How would you like to play D&D as a self-aware tome? Do you want your character to be a dog folk, a gnoll, or even an awakened machine? Well, books that offer all that and more await you in the latest episode of D&D New Releases. Let's get started. Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we offer first impressions of new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover a selection of titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and ttrpg each week. The titles are presented in alphabetical order, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel, but you can also support us by purchasing one of our best-selling books. Our newest release, Dragonlance Companion, offers 180 pages for players and DMs to bring the magical world of Krynn to life. And like many of our books, it's available in hardcover and digital format. Our Swarms of the Multiverse offers over 70 brand new creatures, including their associated swarms, instructions on how to make your own balanced swarms, and lots of bonus materials such as 4 new demiplanes. Our Feywild Companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for players and DMs alike. Also, our book, Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, contains over 50 pages of dragon-themed player options, including a subclass for each class and much more. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take potions to the next level in your game. Please support the channel by purchasing our books using the links in the video description. Okay, first we have Bound, which is $8 for, I'm not sure how many pages, but it's by Gabriel Hatcher, Christopher Gunning, and April Alsop. And it looks so fun. I love this cover. It says fantasy settings often feature intelligent books, yet despite those objects being intelligent and even conversant, they rarely take center stage in the stories we tell. Forced into the background of the story, these intelligent books rarely have the time to tell their own stories. Bound joyfully shifts that paradigm. No longer are intelligent books merely tools to use. Now they are the center of your story. Inside Bound are all the rules you need to play as a self-aware tome of considerable magical power. Intelligent books who call themselves tomes live in a world where the inanimate is valued just as much as the animate. That world is vibrant and exciting and magical, but rarely recognized by traditional types of player characters. Bound will open up an entirely new setting just below your favorite fantasy setting, a place where intelligent books and other magical objects hold court, make war, and build a future. So you're getting this playable race, basically, and this sort of underlying story that you can weave in that has to do with, these seemingly inanimate objects having their own sort of society or culture. It says it's got rules designed to fit into any setting, official or homebrew, a new character option, the tome, the mimeticist, a new spellcasting class that uses sidekicks in a new way, new antagonists to make the war of words your own, new and original art, of course, and it just looks so good. I mean, look at this artwork. I love it, and that cover, like I said, it fits the concept really well, and I actually like the name of the book too. So it says, it talks about the world here, welcoming to it, and it says you are playing a book. Player character tomes should be considered an advanced character class. If you are new to D&D, playing a tome might not be the best idea. As inanimate objects, tomes fundamentally see the world different than an animate, which would be an adventurer or any kind of creature, right? Rather than acting with direct agency, all tomes must use animate go-betweens called custodians. Tomes see custodians as enlightened allies, partners to act on the world and through. While most animates can neither understand nor appreciate tomes, these special people are willing to spend their lives in communion with them. The tome-custodian relationship means that every player using a tome is actually balancing two characters, only one of which they have perfect control of, the tome. This can be a tricky process in terms of role-playing and adventuring, but it sounds fun, right? Being able to play kind of two at once. So it talks about the implied setting here. Bound is designed to play in almost any D&D setting. The inanimate world of the tomes find themselves in is very different than the world of the animate. Tomes understand their environment differently than humanoids, animate creatures, even plants, and thus their reality only intersects with an animate world when a tome works together with a custodian. So it talks all about terms that you're going to have in here, and then it gets into living pages, important rules about the tomes. They're considered sentient magic items. They cannot move normally on their own. And then it talks about building your tome from the title, the author, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, you're gonna have to imagine like what's on the spine of this tome that you're gonna play as, right? And what's inside it. And it talks about, for example, the author is the archivist, and it says used the written word to preserve important information for the betterment of future generations and for the creation of innovations in the current one. And it's got a mastered spell called Mending, and a passage says the obsessive bibliophile, the frustrated hack, the alchemist, and the fermenter. So not sure what the passage is, but it looks like it's got a spell associated with it, and you can imagine that you could maybe even open the book to look something up. Maybe there's a history check that needs to happen. So if it's an archivist book, then maybe the archivist has written something down about it, right? So I think it could be really fun and different. I like that there's an underlying world. We don't get to see in the preview like how the class functions, but we do get to see the beginnings of it, that you're going to have to pick a title, you're going to have to pick all these things, and it sounds like you're going to also have to play this custodian. You know, and some people I think struggle to pick a single character to play when they're about to begin a long campaign. So having a dual character like this could be really fun. And it's only $8 to check it out. So look for it in the links below. It's under Bound. Give it a click. Next, we have the Calescent Canyons, a one-shot in location for any setting. And it's from CZRPG. It's $9.99 for 18 pages. And it aims to help to save you prep time and impress your players. You get ready to use location, which you can drop into any place, along with detailed encounters that can become an adventure. All of it is supported by maps to complement your game without the need to prepare. So you get to find out about Sitnalta, the city beneath the waves, an enchanting high fantasy realm concealed beneath the ocean's depths. Embark on a thrilling adventure as you unravel the enigmatic secrets surrounding the perplexing disappearance of ships, while immersing yourself in a captivating journey unlike any others, where ancient and untold wonders await. Can the party unfold the dark secrets that await them in the depths? And it says it's for groups of levels 4 to 5. And yeah, it's got custom artwork. My cat wants to be in this video, apparently. So you have to ignore her. She's talking. That's Luna. She wants to go to the Calescent Canyons. I think that's too dangerous for her, though. So she's going to stay here with me. So you got the encounter structure here, and it goes through all the little sections on, you know, what each little subheading is, so that you understand what you're looking at. But it's got a recommended tier 1, because this is part of a series, right? So you can get more in the series and understand the whole sort of layout. So it goes into the intro, then you've got the overarching plot, which you can use for all these encounters in here if you want. There's some hooks you can use, NPCs that are also useful for this. I mean, but I would say, you know, you could even pull some of these out for other things, because you're probably not going to use them all. So that's cool. And then you've got lava stingers, which is a vicious cat-like creature that has adapted to the harsh volcanic environment of the Calescent Canyons. Lava stingers are lion-sized monsters capable of burrowing through solid rock. Their bodies are protected by a tough exoskeleton speckled with sharp spiny protrusions which emit a constant searing heat, and his tail is tipped with a stinger that drips with molten lava. And it's a CR2. And then fun artwork for those. And then here you get this really cool map, some volcanic style maps. And then here's one of the encounters. So it's levels 4 to 5, and it's combat and social, and gives you the encounter itself. So yeah, I mean, you're getting to see the whole book here. So you can read through the encounters. Flavor text, we'll look at more of that in a minute. I like this little camp in the volcanic area. It says Raining Blood. This is another one. So yeah, I'm just going to do a quick scroll so you can see how cool all this volcanic art is in here with all these maps. I mean, look at that. That's so cool. You're going to have a series of maps for your use with volcanic anything. So even if you're not playing these encounters, I mean, for the price point, you're going to get all these maps for volcanic stuff. And then you have these encounters to also play if you want. So, if you're a VTT user especially, this is going to be, I think, a really good pickup for you. But let's scroll down and read some of the flavor text. So this one's called Raining Blood. It sounds like an interesting adventure. It says, after having witnessed the battle with the lava stingers, the party ventures forth through the passageways toward the volcano. As traversing the passageways amongst the canyons that lead toward the volcano, read or paraphrase. So as you trudge forward, boots crunching against the uneven ground, molten lava flows in streams and rivers all around you, serving as an ever-present reminder of this land's volatile nature. The earth around you is flanked on all sides by towering canyons of jagged rock that juts its way high into the sky. Your path is narrow and winding, with no alternative routes to take. The sky is obscured by a thick blanket of ash swirling above you, a fiery haze that obscures the sun and casts the world below in a sinister red glow. Occasionally, the cloud of ash erupts in bursts of flame, illuminating the jagged canyons in flickering light. So I like that. It really sets the stage for where you are. You're in this volcanic area. And I like that they've described pretty much every direction. So above you, below you, to the sides, so that you feel almost encapsulated by it, which is a really good way to make characters feel that pressure, feel like they're stuck, like they're in this and they can't really get away. And that can create tension, which you can then build upon as you go through the rest of your encounter. But yeah, I like that. It was cool description. It's got continuing this sort of structure they have for their encounter. So it has little sections, but then at the end it has outcomes. So it lists all the possible ones and then some possible rewards. So they're really, with their structure in this book, they're making sure you have every little piece you need. Everything's ready for you so that you don't have to go look up a bunch of stat blocks and a bunch of bonus material to throw in here. You've got like everything you need right here on the pages, which is really, really cool. So I hope you check it out. It's under Calescent Canyons in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Corruption Magic from Tepopera, and it is suggested price of $4.99. Pay what you want, and it's 15 pages. This is welcome to a journey of exploration into the shadowy realms of the arcane, where light gives way to the darkness and the line between good and evil blurs. This book delves into the lives and powers of characters marked by corruption, and those changed beyond recognition by forces beyond their control. So you'll get a character background called the Flesh Warped, you get another character background called Corrupted, you get an arcane tradition for wizards called Corruption Magic, and then you get some story. It says Edribrius Envidius. It says, read the tale of him, a wizard who embraced the corrupting forces of the abyss and paid a heavy price. His story is a cautionary tale of power unchecked and the consequences of unchecked ambition. So, Planescape is coming to 5th edition very soon, and anything connected to the planes could be useful. So already here we're seeing a connection to the abyss with this character that's in this book, so that's cool. So the background says, Flesh Warped, you are different. You have always been. Something occurred that subjected you to terrible energies, causing twisted mutations to your body. Whether it was your choice doesn't matter anymore. You've been avoided and chased all your life, growing fearful and distrustful of other people. You learned your survival skills by adapting to a world that seems not to want you. Your mutated features are permanent unless you can find a powerful healer to undo them, but maybe you just don't care anymore. And so it says your body has been warped, and it gives you a table to pick how it's been warped. But then your feature is comfortable oddity. Because of your looks, you are often viewed with suspicion and fear by the most beautiful and harmonic creatures such as humans and elves. But sometimes, although rarely, the lesser and ugliest ones understand that there is more to you than meets the eye. Because of this, you can more easily befriend and parley with other more monstrous looking creatures, like orcs, ogres, and goblins. So basically, your appearance is unusual, and maybe you can use that to your advantage. And you've got some personality traits, you've got ideals flaws, all that stuff. And then you get into the next one, which is the corrupted. So it says, you have been corrupted by the darkness, possibly through contact with a fiend, evil deity, or using dark magic. This has given you some measure of power, but at the cost of your soul. You may be able to resist the corrupting influence, but it is always there, lurking in the back of your mind, waiting to take over again. So again, this could be used with the planes, any of the infernal planes, etc. If you're having contact with the fiend, etc. But I'm loving this artwork, and so here you get into the corruption magic subclass, and again, beautiful artwork for that. And then it talks about how to role play corruption. But let's just read a little bit about this. So it says, some wizards driven by a particularly strong thirst for power open portals to the most unholy, perverse, gruesome, and chaotic plane of existence, the abyss. The chaotic power allows those who follow the corruption magic tradition to learn how to bend the darkest energies to their will. This magic is the most experimental and dangerous of all, and these mages are fearless pioneers of this new branch, though with great power comes great side effects. Every time a corrupt magician summons and experiments over the forces of chaos, the stain of the abyss spreads around like a plague. Those who dwell with the abyss on a daily basis are affected by this corruption, and there's no way to stop it, only to slow it down. Such taint is the price of experimenting with the most powerful radiation in existence and for overcoming the limits of the material plane. So, corruption is a mechanic we see in other role-playing games. I've seen it for 5th edition and, some Kickstarter books, but it's not in any of the official 5th edition stuff, but it's in a lot of video games and other media. So it's cool to be able to play through that if you want with this. And it says your corruption magic features require the use of a special personalized focus. This is a focus only you can use and must be created through your magical efforts. And it looks like it's called an abyssal shard or abyssal focus. It says when you cast a spell, you can incorporate abyssal energy into the spell, changing its nature temporarily. You can change its damage type to radiant. You can use constitution. Or you can have the area now spreads around corners, even if the original spell's effect did not. And then you can also make another creature that is corrupted have disadvantage. You can ignore material components, etc. There's a bunch of things that you have to come here and read for yourselves, but looks like there's some advantages to using that, probably some disadvantages too, which will probably come up later. So when you draw upon your abyssal connection, corruption is released around you, creating an area where vegetation withers and dies. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to role play because people might get mad that you're killing their plans, but that's cool. I mean, that's what we need, is things that come up in the story. And it says the area of a 10-foot cube is lightly obscured, and any healing done with it is halved. When a creature enters the zone for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must succeed on a con saving throw against your spell save DC or become corrupted. So there you go. You're creating corrupted creatures that then you can use your effects against it. And then it increases as you level as far as the size of the cube. And a corrupted creature emits a dim green glow. It is poison and it can't benefit from being invisible. So that could be really helpful as well. There's a bunch of abilities I want you to read on your own, but let's just jump to the 14th so you can get a glimpse. We read the early levels. Now we're going to read the last level. As you delve further into the depths of the abyss, your mastery over its corrupting energies grows stronger. When a creature becomes corrupted, it also becomes vulnerable to one damage type of your choice, as long as it doesn't have resistance or immunity to that damage. When you use the Abyssal Shard with a spell, you can ignore material components of up to 500 GP in value. So another benefit there. So cool stuff. Corruption sounds fun. I like that there's backgrounds that you can use. I like that there's connections to the Abyss because, again, we're approaching Planescape. So having things like that's going to be really cool. So look for it under Corruption Magic in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Deck of Unusual Things. So you've heard of the Deck of Many Things, but now we have the Deck of Unusual Things, and it is $2.99 for the PDF, or $9.99 for the cards, or $9.99 for both the cards and the PDF. And it's by author Mark Plemons, 23 cards, and it says it's compatible with 5th edition, of course, and and you can just print and play with the PDF if you want, or you can get those cards. I think it's worth it. I mean, it's only a few bucks more to get both the PDF and the cards, so I would go that route if I was going to buy it. But looking at it, it's got a cool card back, and then each of the cards has, its front piece that looks very old school, maybe not so much tarot, maybe a little tarot influence, but it definitely looks like an old school card. But I was looking at some of these earlier, and they're interesting. So it says the entourage. You gain 3 acolytes who appear within 30 feet of you in an area of your choosing. They are of the same background as you and believe you are a religious figure foretold long ago. They will follow you devotedly until death. However, they frequently argue and jostle for hierarchy among themselves. The DM controls each acolyte. So that could be interesting. The Haunt says a black robe, faceless figure appears within 20 feet in an area of the DM's choosing. It follows you wherever you go, but always remains at that distance. The Haunt is intangible and cannot be commanded, harmed, or even dispelled short of a wish spell. It remains with you until you die. That's interesting too. So that's just a couple. Let's read one more. The Emissary. As soon as you draw this card or any time before your death, you can travel forward in time by any amount from 1 day to 1 year. You remain in the future for 1 day, then return automatically to the time and place you left 1 day later. You can bring a baseball-sized object back with you. You can only use this ability once. So all kinds of different things happening to you with this. It's some of them are giving you like a thing that follows you around. Some of them are causing you to disappear for a day, right? So the DM's going to have to really read through all of these, make sure they're comfortable running all of these and, letting these things happen. But there's also nothing stopping you from making only a few cards available, right? I mean, one of the things with Deck of Many Things is that you have to reassemble the deck a lot of times, right? So you could do the same thing with this, or you could just not even show the cards, just have the effect happen, because it's basically a deck full of interesting effects. And they're not just like, oh, you gain advantage, or oh, this happens, right? It's some interesting effects here happening. So I hope you check it out. Maybe even consider getting the printed deck. That would be cool. It's under Deck of Unusual Things in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Drizzt's Travelogue of Everything. And it's volume 2. So we've covered volume 1 previously. And it's got quite a bit of stuff in it. It's a copper seller already. So it's sold over 51 copies in its first week. It's 100 pages. So you can get it for $19.95. Or there's various options for hardcover, softcover. You can get a combo of a standard color softcover and PDF for $27.99, and a hardcover premium color with PDF for $39.99. So some fun stuff. But it's basically got a ton of different things in it. It's got ancestry, so basically races. So it says, be free of Yongu's hunger and play as a gnoll. Put your nose to the ground and become a Mastar, the new dogfolk ancestry. Create a robo, an awakened machine. Rise up from the soil and undergrowth as Virtus, a species of plant people. Then under class options, they've got the new alchemist class, combining potion craft and spell class casting into a new way of using spells. Alongside 6 subclasses for that, which is nice. When you get a new class, sometimes they only come with like 3 subclasses. So I think 6 is a good, healthy number. Because if you think about the official classes, right? Official classes are competing with so many subclasses when you have to go to pick for one, right? So having a good assortment, you could play 6 different times, have 6 different experiences with the alchemist. So that's cool. I like that. 26 new subclasses for the 13 official D&D 5e classes. 3 new subclass options for the Tactician, which was the class in the previous volume of the series. And then 2 remastered subclass options, the Assassin Rogue, which was in the Player's Handbook, and the War Magic Wizard, which was in Xanathar's Guide. And then you've got spells, 19 new spells, including multiple spells exclusive to the Alchemist class, and then 28 revised spells improving on lackluster spells featured in the Player's Handbook and Xanathar's Guide. And then a bunch of Dungeon Master tools like expanded rules on cooking, benefits for cooking, and advice for DMs. for flavoring local cuisine and campaign settings, expanded rules on mounts, allowing mounts to be trained and bonded with, and the new rules for mythic heroics, allowing heroic fantasy characters to achieve new heights in their darkest hour. And then you can see some of the cool layout here. Unfortunately, the full-size preview is not working. I'm guessing they made an edit to the page and saved it, and when you do that, if you don't redo your preview settings, they're gone. So it's just a bug on the site, unfortunately. But the good news is they put some really cool pages here that we can zoom in and read. So you've got a bard subclass here, it looks like, and some spells. So we'll just introduce you to the College of Colors. So it says, while bards are famed for their moving music, compelling rhetoric, and powerful poetry, many bards instead choose to pursue the visual arts. Bards of the College of Colors are masterful painters and illustrators, weaving fantastic magics into their craft. When the College of Colors wields a color, magic is guaranteed to follow. The world is a canvas for these bards, and each one is eager to complete their own masterpiece. And then we've got some spells. So you've got Produce Poison, 4th level Evocation, casting time 1 minute, range of self, duration 7 days, and it's for the alchemist or the ranger. It says you pull the essence of the wild, crafting a vial of poison. Choose one poison you are familiar with worth 600 GP or less. The spell forms a dose of the chosen poison in the provided vial, which remains pure for the duration before turning to a useless slime. The DC for any saving throw associated with the poison is equal to your spell save DC instead of its normal DC, and the poison can coat only up to one piece of ammunition. When you cast a spell using a spell slot at 5th level or higher, you can create any potion you're familiar with, but the material components provided must be worth at least 1,000. So yeah, that's cool. You can make your own poison potion basically, and that could be really useful. Another one is Snap Boom. It's a 4th level evocation, range of 150 feet, instantaneous for alchemist, bard, sorcerer, and wizard. You create an explosion of searing light and ear-splitting sound centered on a point you can see within range. Each creature within 15 feet of the chosen point must make a con saving throw, taking fire damage plus thunder damage on a failed save and half as much on a successful one. So that's a fun one too. A little Snap Boom action going on, and there's a smoke bomb spell that you can read, and then you get some samples of the DM tools with cooking, how to expand it, good food and good friends, and then mythic traits by class. So those are cool. So it says for Artificer, you gain the following mythic traits. Energy Flare. As a bonus action, you can choose a creature within 60 feet of you that has one of your infused items on their person. Then choose either Aegis Flare or Burst Flare, invoking the corresponding effects. So for Aegis, you roll a number of d6s equal to 1 plus half your proficiency bonus. That creature gains temporary hit points equal to the result, which lasts until your mythic heroics ends. And then Burst Flare, choose another creature within 30 feet of the target. That creature must make a dex saving throw against your Artificer spell save DC. Roll a number of d6s equal to 1 plus half your proficiency bonus. The target takes force damage equal to the result on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. So that could be fun, if you're going to have mythic stuff happening. So really, really cool. Love the artwork and layout. And here's a good look at the TOC, or table of contents. So it shows you how you're going to get those ancestries. You're going to get the alchemist and all of its goodness, including its pursuits, which is its subclasses. You get spells, a spell list anyway, and then the artificer all the way through the wizard, plus that tactician getting their subclasses, and then those spells that I referenced, as well as some DM tools down here at the end. So it's really a good supplement. I mean, in terms of the breadth of things involved here for you to see. And the first one was successful, and they're continuing that now, bringing you more stuff. So I'm excited for you to check out all the possibilities in here, and see for yourself what you can use in your campaign. So look for it. It's under Drizzt's Travelogue of Everything, Volume 2, in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Halls of Song and Spirit from Beyond the Screen, and it's $7 for 24 pages. Authors Aviad Tal, Sachar Bieber, and Daniel Beverdrago, it looks like. And this series, is for this setting called Celevast, and I've really enjoyed all of it because it's got this kind of really interesting feel to it. It reminds me a lot of Kaladesh, but it's not just Kaladesh. There's a lot more to it, but some of the look of it reminds me of Kaladesh, if you know that from Magic the Gathering. And there's all this stuff with spirits and different things going on. And you can even get down here, it looks like a bundle that has this product as well as a bunch of the other Celevast things. So I'm excited for people to do that because yeah, it's really cool. I mean, look at this artwork, and it's got a lot of original artwork. I mean, we're seeing tons of titles just filled with AI artwork, but these are the Celevast titles are not that. They have a lot of custom, lovingly created art by human artists, so that's worth supporting as well. So it talks about the halls of song and spirit here, and which is one of the areas that you could visit. So we'll read more about that in a second. But I just want you to see they've got little newspaper clippings because there is a newspaper in this environment, this setting, and they've got little story seeds sort of seeded throughout the book. So this one's called Delayed Delivery. And then there's something called Dragon Dice here, which might be a little mini game, it looks like. So fun things. So let's come back up here and read a little bit about it. It says, bars, sports centers, casinos, and theaters are just a few of the leisure and entertainment businesses in Celevast. Some stand out from the rest, either because they are successful, controversial, or both. Secrets, intrigue, and opportunities abound in such places, and adventure is just around the corner. This chapter focuses on entertainment establishments in Celevast. So the first one is the Gossamer Nightclub in Harper Keys combines magic and artifice to produce spectacular experience. Color-shifting crystals decorate the dance floors, alcohol flows generously, and live music is performed by local celebrities. Its real charm, however, lies in an innovative enchantment that allows spirits and humanoids to see and hear each other. The club's spirit guests are carefully curated, even more so than its heavily screened performing musicians, and the Gossamer considers them as a part of the staff. The spirits enjoying exclusive access to the rich source of essence, and in exchange they are expected to keep energy high and ensure everyone has a good time. In less than a year, the nightclub established itself as Harper Key's most popular spot, and business is booming. So again, spirits are very important in this setting. You can interact with them and see them in some cases. There's something called essence. The whole of Celevast is really interesting too, because there's like these floating islands in sort of like a crater thing. One of the other books has a good picture of it that you can see, but it's just a really cool setting. So then there's another, it looks like, it says Gossamer's most iconic persona is a rainbow-colored spirit of wonder with avian features. Fairy Fire never performs solo, but they often join other performers in breathtaking duets. When they aren't performing, they are welcoming guests into the club, attracted by the sense of wonder they experience upon entering. Fairy Fire never stays still for long. Even holding their attention for a minute is a great feat. During the short time they devote to each guest, Fairy Fire will compliment them profusely, making them more susceptible to the spirit's attempts to get them onto the dance floor. So you're going to get, and I'm just reading a little bit. There's a lot more detail because they're giving you, they even have a section on Trevor Query, the owner. And then there's a story seed for the Gossamer. It said, when a place like Gossamer becomes popular so rapidly, it gets all kinds of attention. Recently, Trevor Query received a series of letters that promised retribution if the Gossamer did not change its unethical ways. He dismissed them at first, but a couple of days ago, his apartment was broken into and a new letter was left promising that the Gossamer would burn. So, and then there's more to it, but I'm just giving you a taste, right? So there's story seeds for each of these things. And then there's another place here called Queen's Fortune, standing in stark contrast to the dirty streets of Covette Rose. The impeccable design of the Queen's Fortune Casino proves that beauty exists in the crater. Because again, there's sort of this crater with floating islands, and then I think the higher you live, the higher your status is, if I remember some of the other ones we've looked at in the show. And then I think people that have like a lower class in society are down in the bottom of the crater. But anyway, they've got a casino. I mean, this world is just so cool. So let's read about this. There's people that are there that you're going to learn about, going to get a story see. But there's something called Dragon Dice here. It says the Queen's Fortune offers numerous games of chance that may interest players. You can bring any card or dice game to the table to emulate in-game gambling. But if you don't have them available or want something different, you can use the following rules for something called Dragon Dice. Each player typically starts the game with 10 chips, each worth 1 SP at the standard tables or 1 GP at high roller tables. To start a round, each player must put 1 chip forth and roll a D12, D10, D8, and a D6, keeping the results hidden from others. One player, chosen at random, starts the game with the dragon token and must put an extra chip to start the round if they have one available, and if not, the game continues as usual with 1 less chip in the pot. The player with the dragon tokens reveals the result on their largest die first, then each player reveals the same die in a clockwise fashion. Bets can be made at this point by pushing tokens to the center of the table. Each player must match the bet, withdraw from the round, or put in all of their remaining tokens, as in going all in. Then the player with the dragon token reveals the result of their second largest die, D10, and this process continues until all dice are revealed, at which point the round is over and the winner is determined. The winner is determined by the total points they have accumulated. So you sum all the value of the dice, and if all their dice show even numbers or all show odd numbers, count the die with the highest value twice. And if the dice contain a streak of 3 consecutive numbers, double the point total. If there are 4 consecutive numbers, triple it. So it's interesting. It's almost like the dice are like cards, different card values do different things, and like poker, etc. So you're kind of doing that with dice. It looks fun, and I mean, you're going to have these kind of dice if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, right? So it could be really fun for everyone to sort of hide their dice, roll it, and put those forward. And you could even have, if you have like a table and maybe only one player's playing it, you could even have some of your other players take on NPC roles at the table and roll the dragon dice as though they're, some sort of, you could, take a break and kind of tell them what their character is going to be like that they're going to play, just so that it feels like they're really, playing at the high roller table or the low roller table or whatever. But that's the kind of fun that's in here, because there's always so much detail and passion behind the setting with its creators. Every single book has had an interesting little take on the setting and just expanding it further, and I think it's such a great series. And it's cool that there's a bundle down here where you can get some of the past titles like Secret Societies and Guilds of Steel and Spirit and the Streets Beyond the Veil. Some of those we've looked at on the channel, but this one is called Halls of Song and Spirit, and it's linked below, so give it a click. The next title is the Hierophant, from Gregory Wonderland, and it's a class for you, and it's $4.95 for 20 pages, and it says, Cleric got you down, make way for the Hierophant, your new clerical alternative, complete with heals and absolute zealotry. The Hierophant offers alternative non-spell-based healing, fits any alignment, and creates immense role-playing opportunities for more deity-focused character. Play as a zealous warrior and suffused with divine energy, a hermetic healer, a spell-slinging angel, or any number of divine archetypes beyond both spell slots and narrow party roles. Or, play as a cleric that doesn't need to spam all their spells to heal the person who won't stop getting flanked by every monster on the map. So, and then you get 4 subclasses: an evangelist, a proselytizing priest who can do damage by talking to people, an inquisitor, a lone adaptable agent, and then a mendicant. It says it's focused on healing, and then the Templar, the war priest you've always wanted to smash faces with. So looking inside, it says Hierophant draws from their holy service for a wealth of abilities. In addition to spells, they make use of a unique ability to channel divine energy into healing or radiant power, and are granted boons that can shape their very souls into new, rare abilities. Hierophants are healers, warriors, and spellcasters, able to take multiple roles, but always able to support their allies in their most dire moments. So yeah, I mean, sometimes when you play a cleric, you're just like the healer, and so it's nice to have another class that could do something else. So you get the quick build information. Here you can see, they have cantrips, and they have something called fervor, and they have a number of boons, and they have channel dice. So it looks like they only get cantrips from what I'm seeing here, but you get up to 6 of those. And as I said, you have a fervor level, boons known, and channel dice. Some interesting mechanics. It says, at first level, you choose a deity to follow. You understand this divinity in ways few others do, becoming one of their closest followers. and you get a divine feature, esotericism. You gain hit points per Hierophant level based on your wisdom modifier, and while you are not wearing armor heavier than light, you may use your charisma in place of your dexterity for determining your AC, and you may cast spells with somatic components while both of your hands are occupied. Another option is Sacred Fervor, it looks like. Suffused with the raw power of the divine, you can cast spells granted by your deity. A Hierophant has access to their own spell list detailed at the end of the class description. Oh, okay, so it doesn't list how many spells known in here, but maybe they do have spells. It says preparing and casting spells. At first level, you possess a fervor pool. Oh, okay. So you can use fervor points to cast your spells. That's how you do it. Whenever you gain a Hierophant level, you increase your available fervor points by your new proficiency bonus. So that helps you figure out how you can cast. And it talks about ritual casting. And then you choose your chapter. So all kinds of stuff going on with this class, which is cool. It says boons. A boon cannot be taken more than once unless noted in this description. And then it gives you some boons that you can pick at I guess at certain points. Because there's various levels that you're getting different abilities, but I don't want to read through all of those. But it looks like you get boons maybe at 19th level. Let's see. It says you've grown beyond the necessity of your deity's influence. You become a bastion of divine strength. Your powers draw from the fiber of your own soul. You no longer lose access to any features when displeasing your deity. With this power, your creature type changes to celestial. You are unaffected by spells that target humanoids. If you already possess resistance to either of these damage types, you are now immune, so radiant and necrotic. And you gain permanent true sight out to 10 feet. So, but I'm not sure where the boons come in. I'm not seeing it jump out at me, and we kind of have to move quickly on the show, so I can't look for it. But it looks like there's a bunch of different boons here. So one of them is Celestial Companion. You gain the service of a loyal companion. You may cast the Fine Steed spell once per long rest without using fervor points. Only it may be a beast, CR 1/2 or lower, large enough to bear your weight without a flight speed. Your steed gains a bonus to its attacks, damage, and AC equal to your proficiency bonus. Its attacks count as magical, and it gains hit dice equal to your proficiency bonus. At 9th level, you may now cast Find Greater Steed instead of the original spell. So, cool stuff. I mean, this looks really fun. As I said, they've got quite a few of the subclasses here, which are chapters. And those all look so different when I read the descriptions here on this page. So I think this could be fun. I mean, I definitely think there's some things that you can work with here to make it feel like you're being, connected to a deity, but not sort of constrained by some of the things that happen to typical clerics. So check it out. It's under Hierophant in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have the puzzling Temple of Flummox Heist from Allison Collatine, Jeff C. Stevens, and Jeff Stevens Games, $4.95 for 30 pages. So that's a great price for this. It's already a best copper seller, sold over 51 copies in its first week. This is challenge your players and their characters with a brain-teasing mix of puzzles, combat, and roleplay in this one-shot adventure for characters 3rd through 6th level. And it says it will delight fans of escape rooms and solve-at-home mystery adventures. Characters travel through a mysterious underground temple packed with 9 carefully crafted original puzzles, each one presented as a beautifully illustrated graphic and all woven carefully into the narrative. By doing so, they unknowingly prepare themselves for ritual sacrifice by Flummox Heist, a trickster cleric who lurks at the heart of the temple. This unique adventure also features 2 exciting combat encounters, each with a story-relevant twist to standard monster mechanics, and a set of interesting and original NPCs to create an immersive story for you and your players. The unique puzzles are all designed to be short, self-contained, and satisfying to solve. There's no need for trial and error, no grinding through fiddly code breaking, and no need to pause your game to look up information. Instead, each puzzle is crafted as a complete short challenge with that rewarding aha moment when the solution clicks. And it also has a hints appendix, so if you need to nudge them, you can. And what's nice is that even though it's a one-shot adventure, you can take the rooms and their puzzles out of here and use them separately. So if you just need a puzzle, you can use this, this book to make that happen. And then keep keep pulling from it, keep pulling puzzles out of it, and you know, using them for other adventures. So this is a really cool map of everything in the very beginning of the book. It's really beautifully illustrated. I like that a lot. It looks like Saga McKinsey may have done this, and Saga always does really good stuff. So you've got an introduction, you've got average character level, you know, we talked about that a little bit, and adventure summary, reward. And Flummox Heist is a trickster cleric who worships a trickster god, and then it gives you a list of which god that would be depending on your setting. So even Eberron, Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance, you're covered here. It talks about the stolen item that's involved, the temple itself, all these things. And then it talks about entering the village right before this, but you could place this somewhere else, right? But I'm just going to scroll through real fast so you can see some of the cool stuff. I love these pictures in here. You've got different buttons that you have to press for some of these puzzles. So yeah, let's look at one of the puzzles if we can. So the sand trough. So it says, reader summarize the following. The corridor opens out into a round stone room with a domed ceiling. Burning torches set around the circular stone wall dimly light the room. On the floor, in the center of the room, is a large circular trowel, just a few inches high, rimmed with a dull golden metal and filled with black sand. Text and images are carved into the stone floor around it. It says, exits. There are no visible exits other than the doorway the characters use to enter the room. The trowel, golden text and images are carved into the floor around the trowel. The below image provides a bird's eye view of the trowel. The outcome, when the characters trace a line in the sand between each image and its corresponding set of words, the stone beneath the sand crumbles away, revealing the entrance into the room 20 feet below. Characters may use a rope to safely enter it. So, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. So you would have to, there's these little phrases like, however, grass fib, not me, leg joint, cereal crop, able to, not bright, adhere, you know, these words. And then there's symbols that looks like a pineapple, a candle, a butterfly, a mask, and a unicorn. So then if you draw the line to something that seems to connect from the dot on the unicorn to one of the other things, or so like one, I don't know if this is the correct answer or not, but you have the candle here at the top, then down on the right you have able to, not bright, adhere. So not bright, a candle may not be too bright, so that could be maybe one option, and you draw the line that way. I don't know if that's the right answer. I'm sure the answers are in here somewhere, but so it's not like a maddening puzzle. I've played adventures where it's like, okay, you got to take 3 steps this way, 2 steps that way, 3 steps over, you know, backwards. And, you know, it's like you just want to pull your hair out because it's just too much. It's too complicated for people to just have to deal with, right? So I like that this is reasonable. And there's a statue warrior that you're going to have to deal with. Here's an area 4 with buttons. And then it continues with the buttons. And so they have to choose the correct box, it looks like. It says, think of the watery bough that cannot be tied and choose the order wisely. So it looks like they're going to have to press the buttons in a certain order. And there's only 6 of them, right? So you can't, it's not too crazy. You can't get too frustrated with these, which I like. And then there's a little thing that happens when the correct box is opened. So yeah, fun things in here. I love all these little puzzles. This map is stunning, showing you going through all the different rooms. Yeah, great job in the cover too. Beautiful, beautiful cover. So I think this is so great for only $4.95. I mean, there's really no reason not to get this especially if you're a DM, because you're going to get all these puzzles you can use independently with a stunning cover, a stunning map, all that good stuff. So check it out. It's under Puzzling Temple of Flummox Heist in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have a small quest and a huge adventure from Midnight Tower. It's priced at 99 cents on Pay What You Want, and it's also a best copper seller, so it's sold over 51 copies in its first week. And it's a mini adventure. It's designed for a group of 3 to 5 second-level characters, but you can easily replace the encounters to suit characters of any level. It's 13 pages. It can be played as a one-shot episode or as part of the Hunter's Moon full trilogy. It can also be used in any campaign that features a region with a forest. So it's got a mini adventure with pixies and sprites from the Feywild, a unique magical item, Potion of the Silver Tongue. It's got a full color map, 9 pages of content, original art and illustrations, and then a free VTT pack with tokens, gridless maps, and digital handouts. So the adventures can easily be played online. And look at this artwork. I mean, that map looks really cool already. And then it talks more about Midnight Tower and how you can check out their other products. They have a lot of good stuff. I've purchased quite a few of their things. It says, a small quest and a huge adventure. It is meant to be a small and easy quest. Search the forest, find the missing pixie, and receive a handsome reward. But the missing pixie has been kidnapped by the witch Wynessa Crownose Farsighter and her dangerous guard dog. And a forest is a treacherous place when you suddenly are only 1 foot high. Can you rescue the missing pixie and return the important delivery so the battle between the two Fey courts can end? So yeah, this sounds really fun. And as typical with Midnight Tower, you just get these stunning maps. I love this map. And it gives you the background. And we'll read some of the flavor text in a minute, but it looks like a healthy amount of flavor text, which is helpful. Look at this map. How adorable are these little alcoves with sleeping stuff in it, whether it's beds or whatever in there. Yeah, so you got the witch's bedroom. It looks like it's one of those. The guard dog and various areas to visit. It says, on a closer look, with a perception check, as you stroke your chin and ponder the strange sign, you hear snuffling and snarling in the mist. The sound comes from Miss Poochie Poo, the witch guard's dog. Miss Poochie Poo is a blink dog that resembles an oversized slobbering bulldog. The blink dog is meant to guard the entrance to the hag's den, but is currently preoccupied with hunting frogs in a nearby boggy pond. Miss Poochie Poo attacks intruders on sight. The characters sneak past the blink dog by succeeding on a stealth check. So I love that. I love that what you come upon here is in its own world. It's doing its own business, just looking for these frogs. And it's up to you whether you're going to interfere with what's happening or not. Are you going to sneak by? Are you going to, get attacked? Whatever, right? Just turning the corner and there's just something standing there. I mean, unless it's a guard, just seems fake to me, right? But having a blink dog that is actually doing something, it has its own agenda that you're interrupting with your adventure and your story. I love that. So good choice there. But let's go back up and read some of this stuff. So it says, halt in the name of Aurora Starborn, Queen of the Lower Spring Court, a squeaky voice cries in the undergrowth. As you bend down, you spot a furry hazel dormouse that rides on a chubby snow-white rabbit with long, droopy ears. The mouse wears a red brocade vest and a tricorn hat with a cream-colored feather. What? The dormouse points its tiny saber at your nose. Never laid eyes on a knight before? I am tasked with protecting the forest and making sure that no bystanders are harmed. Away with you, Longshanks. So very cute little characters. I love how they're described. The brocade vest, the tricorn hat. I mean, I can picture all of those. So again, good writing, good choices in here. Definitely talent on display. And I'm just giving you a sampling. I mean, we know already that the maps are awesome. So why not grab this? It's 99 cents. You're going to have some fun. You're going to get some good maps. And maybe you'll want to check out some other cool Midnight Tower stuff that's out there. I've checked it out, and it's all good. So you should do that. And here it is. It's in the links below under Small Quest and Huge Adventure. Be sure to give it a click. Next, we have A Titan's Dream from Immersive Adventuring. It's $4.99 on sale. It looks like about half price from Nicola Luberick. And it is 58 pages, and it's a level 3 adventure that invites your party to a conflict between 3 mountain tribes that are competing for a dreaming titan's power. So you get 60 detailed encounters, 15 fleshed out NPC cards with portraits, one large handmade regional map split into 10 hex maps, 6 boons, 3 major, 3 minor, interactive PDF that ties everything into an accessible whole, promoting readability and navigation. So you can see really cool layout and artwork, and it's laptop oriented. So when we look at the interior here, you can see what I mean. So the covers sort of widescreen look to it. Same with this, or landscape as they sometimes call it, but it's a little wider than like a landscape paper, which is cool. It's meant to be for your laptop. So it gives you overview, key features, adventure setting, adventure premise, different tribes you're going to be dealing with, and then the adventure outline as you go through the different hexes on the map, and then encounter page, anatomy, and all of that, showing you how it's going to be laid out, so you can see what these different symbols are, because immersive adventuring always uses symbols to kind of help you understand: is it a social adventure, is it or encounter, is it a combat encounter? Because you can see these little letters, etc. Right? So I think the C in red is combat, and S in gold is going to be social. So so you can quickly see what's going on. But let's zoom back out so you can see, and then you got the pictures of your NPCs with information on those. Here's something that they would encounter, like the bloodstained altar. So, and we're just getting to look a little bit of it, right? This is just 11 out of the 58 pages or so. But let's read about the setting. So it says, Titan's Dominion. Many millennia ago, the Titans were guardians and caretakers of these lands. Through their might, they tamed legendary beasts and built magnificent monuments to celebrate their dominion over the mountains. Eventually, the Titans retreated into a deep slumber beneath the blooming lake and ascended to a higher plane of existence. Over the centuries, various peoples settled in the region, attracted by the rich resources and beauty of the mountains. The tribes lead simple lives, allying with beasts and elements they revered, the legends of the Titan's strength. A century ago, the Northern Kingdom established a colony seeking to exploit the natural resources of the land. Over the decades, tensions grew between the colonists and tribes. The common enemy united the tribes of the south under a single warlord. A battle on the grasslands crushed the colonists, and the ensuing slaughter created the decayed village. 3 decades ago, the tribe's emboldened warlord, guided by the warlock Gregron, set a goal to conquer the Titan's dominion and harness their latent power. The Titans, beasts, and elements crushed the tribes on the mountains. The scattered survivors split into 3 groups. Most formed the Vizig tribe and returned the grasslands, humbled by the experience. Others became fastest and stayed in the mountains, seeking to prove their worth to the Titans. The warlock moved his followers, which became known as the Undying, to the Hidden Valley. So you're finding out about all the tribes that you're going to encounter. So you got the Vizig, the fastest, and the Undying. They each have their own little symbols, and you get to imagine that they have conflicts with each other. There's some surviving families. But I like that it's laid out in hexes, so you can travel to the different areas. It talks about what's going to happen. So in Act 1, the party meets the Vizig and learn about their customs. They join a ritual run across the region and discover a necrotic disturbance at the Afflicted Willow. The investigation leads them to a battle against an undying warlock. The party goes to the Vizig to rest, level up, and consult the tribe. They learn of the Sage. And then it continues with Act 2 and Act 3, right? So, fun stuff. I mean, I love all the little details in here and this real desire to make it readable. I mean, again, this widescreen look, landscape look is going to help you. If you're a DM that has a DM screen and then a laptop behind it, you can just have this displayed, and in some cases maybe you project some of this, like this bloodstained altar, to your audience as you're running the game. So fun stuff. Really good price, $4.99 for 58 pages. That's a steal of a price for that many pages. So look for it. It's in the links below under Titan's Dream. Give it a click. Okay, now we come to the part of the show where we just do shout outs for other new releases that came out this week that we don't have time to do a deep dive on. So first we have Animal Adventures, The Faraway Sea. It's got races, items, classes, and more in over 240 pages for $19.95. Then we've got Clash with Khazgoroth. It's a Moonshae adventure for Forgotten Realms, $2 for 11 pages, and it's for level 20. Then we've got the Death Knight, an Unholy D&D class, inspired by MMOs, and it is 15 pages for $2.95. Then we've got Delver issue 8, which is for OSR, $10, 44 pages, and it's got a ton of reference material, a lot of fun tables in it. Then we've got the Dragon's Hoard issue number 30, $5.99 for 26 pages. It has a lot of stuff for 5th edition, including items, spells, and monsters. Then we've got Gary's Appendix, a thoughtful zine for OSE, Old School Essentials, issue number 1, $8 for over 40 pages. And it's got just a lot of fun different options for OSR or OSE gaming, I should say, Old School Essentials. Then we've got the Moonshae Adventures, $35 for 189 pages. And it is for Forgotten Realms, of course, with adventures from levels 1 to 20. Then we have Performing Troops, a Forager's Guild Guide. It's on sale for $7 for 98 pages. And it is, just a lot of system neutral information, NPCs, and things you can do with performing troops that might appear in your game. Then we've got Psychic and Spiritual Handbook. It's a pay what you want suggested price of $15 for 230 pages. And then we've got Sora Esma's Card of Objects d'Art. It's got 600 goblin trinkets for the world of Eberron, and it is $4.95 for 32 pages. Then we've got Species of Wild Space for Spelljammer. It's got a ton of races for you to play, and it's $6.66 for 95 pages. Then we've got Spelljamming Hazards, $2.95 for 16 pages, which includes a bunch of hazards for Wild Space and beyond. Then we've got Unseen Unraveling. It's a Cthulhu Lovecraft-inspired horror campaign creation package with reference, setting, and location materials, $13.95 for 115 or so pages. Then we've got Urban Locale number 9, a gambling den, $1.75 for, it looks like 3 pages, and this is going to give you all the information you need, some tables to help you populate a gambling den, or at least describe it better than just using your imagination. Well, that's all we have time for this week. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment for the algorithm, and share that video out there with the world so people can find these books and learn about third-party content for D&D and beyond. And click those links, purchase all these awesome books that we've talked about, and if you click any of those links and make a purchase, you're helping the channel with a small affiliate fee. So we do appreciate when you do your shopping with us, and consider just bookmarking one of our links so that you can always help us when you go to one of these 2 sites. And if you really want to help, we also have 7 books we've released. You can find out about all of them at splinterverse.com, and they're all listed in the video description. We're working on a Kickstarter for later this year. It's a 2-book Kickstarter and our biggest book ever, so you want to make sure you stay tuned for that. Follow us everywhere at Splinterverse. And my tip for creators this week is really think about the user experience of your books. Are you hyperlinked? Are you bookmarked? Do you have an index? Do you have a table of contents? And if you don't know how to do that, get somebody to do it for you, because somebody buys your book, they have a bad experience, they may not come back for your next book. So you want to make sure that they're having a good time, that they can find things, and that the text is copy pastable if it's a PDF, etc. So really, really put time into that. It'll pay off in repeat customers. It's much easier to keep a customer than it is to get a new one. So you want to keep the ones that you do get. So think about that. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. I appreciate all of you, whether you're just watching for something to watch, whether you're a creator, whether you're a purchaser of these books, player, DM, whatever. I welcome you. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, happy adventuring.